So what we need to do, team, now is we need to stop our existing Grafana, Prometheus, Alert Manager, whatever is running. And in order to have a complete understanding, what we learned right now is setup. To go one step further, we need an environment where we have some application also for monitoring, and we configure alerting and dashboards and understand some real application monitoring. Components wise, we understood what Prometheus is, how it works. We understood alert manager also, node exporter also, Grafana installation also, but we need some complete environment along with the application and everything else. We need to install Git, and there is a repository managed by community, which is excellent community for practicing all the features. This is the repository which I am importing, that is managed by Grafana tutorial environment. So I am cloning this, and once I clone this repository, I'll go to this tutorial environment, and you'll see here we have docker-compose.yml. Let's investigate what this file is. This is interesting file. We need to understand this file. So let's see what this file is talking about. docker-compose.yml file. This file is actually creating a network with the name Grafana, mapping port number 9090 so that Grafana is available. This is for Prometheus. It will be installed from Docker image. Volume will be created at this location. Command configuration setup will be taken the default prometheus.yml file which we have already configured. It is using the same configuration file. The databases will be stored at this location. Network is Grafana, and then this is another application called Loki. This Loki is for error tracking and monitoring, and like error monitoring tool, let me put it that way. So image Grafana, Loki image, command to configure network, same network Grafana here also. Then this is also creating a couple of more containers. One is Prometheus, then Grafana itself, then there is one application also, one app, and the app will be built, to be honest, look at this, app will be built from the current directory. That means app is available as a source code, which means that you can customize the application if you want and make some changes. The database will be Grafana TNSDB will be stored. All these containers will be launched with this one single file. And where the app is available here. Let's try investigate this app also. App ls, and it's a Go based application. You see index.html, Go module, right, and Docker file and app and main.go. Let's see what is there in main.go. This is our main Go language program, which is doing some job. We are not getting to inside this logic of the program. Let's use this vi edit index also, what this index file is referring to. So it is some style sheet and some details, some messages like vote, some, right. So this is pulling some data from Go language program and displaying that. So this index.html template file, main.go, then application. So all in all, this is one application, sample application, which will be brought as Docker container. So docker-compose ps will show us any container if it is running. So docker compose up, what else? I think that's sufficient. Yes, docker compose up. This will bring up all the containers. By default, it will take the files from that docker-compose.yml. This will bring up all the containers, will start all the containers which were mentioned in the docker compose file one by one. You see, it is pulling the images one by one. starting, this is Loki image, this is Grafana Loki, then now it is working on Prometheus. All these containers will be started by Docker compose file, and the connectivity and everything will be set. So in other words, when all these containers are ready to run, we will be able to access everything, Grafana, then Prometheus, then Loki, and then other applications, and we will see what all is available where. And this is building an application also. It is going to deploy that application also as a container. So what we are doing, why we are doing that? Because we want a comprehensive environment, integrated environment at one place. And you see environment Grafana done, Loki done, and starting all the services. Let's see. I should have run in detached mode, but I started in, so it is not running in detached mode. Never mind, I can use the command docker compose ps-a. That will show me all my running containers. So my app is running at this URL 8081. I can open all these ports in one go, which is there in my configuration file. Like now I'm good. I can access my Grafana, I can access my Loki, Prometheus, everything is available. Prometheus is available at port number 9090, and then this Loki is available at port number 3000. Grafana is available at 3000 port number, and application is running at port number 80. So let's access first the application part. Yes, this is the application running at port number 8081, Grafana news. Now type anything here. Let's say I'm typing the name of a website, and I'm typing the URL also, submitting it, and here you are sending some data to the application because we want to monitor some application. I'm entering some more details, let's say Oracle, and I'm leaving some error message here, that is error, empty URL. I'm going back and I'm typing Oracle now, let's say oracle.com. So, and I'm sending some more data to it. Okay, now I open Grafana also, port number 3000. This Grafana is running for the container. So admin, default password is same as usual. I'm logged into Grafana now, and I can also see Prometheus on the same URL where we always used to have it, 9090 port number. And this is Prometheus running inside container now. Our objective is to create a dashboard here. Let's see, this is the environment setup. So we can create the data source, Prometheus data source, which we have just added. So http://localhost:9090. This is my data source for my Prometheus, 10.10.0.100:9090. Oh, it is taking the IP address. Alright, now I know what it should take. It should take Prometheus. It will take by the host name. It will take this Prometheus, I know. And see, it is working. So you type the IP address of the machine, or you type Prometheus, because it's not local host only this machine. It is running inside the container. So Prometheus is the name of the host machine in the container. So you are using Prometheus. Similarly, let's add another data source. Go back, add another, let's say Loki. You will find Loki also. And now I got the idea that it will be in the name of Loki only, LOKI:3100. That was the port where Loki is running, I'm sure. Yes, it is working. So you add data sources. This is how you are setting up the environment. Let's continue with the session now. This is environment setup. We'll work in this environment tomorrow. That will be the first lab tomorrow. This lab, next lab, which we'll do after I finish the session, is about all this environment setup. This session 16 will give you more details about environment, data sources, and plugins and dashboards. Visualizing your data, setting up Grafana, adding a Grafana dashboard, setting up Prometheus with Grafana. This is the first time we are talking about Prometheus now in Grafana. So Prometheus work with exporters. You know that we configured some exporters. Exporters are meant to bind to an existing data source to retrieve metrics from them. For example, MongoDB exporter, the Elasticsearch exporter, or in our case, MySQL exporter. This example, this session is going to discuss MySQL exporter. Exporters are good as Docker image or as standalone binaries that you can run as background tasks or services. By the way, you already set up MySQL exporter in the lab assignment which I shared the day before yesterday itself. And that's what we are going to discuss. That is a part in our agenda now. We are going to use MySQL exporter that is available on Prometheus official GitHub page. MySQL exporter binds to our MySQL instance and exposes metrics directly to Prometheus to consume. As a part of its configuration, Prometheus is going to bind to it and scrap metrics from it. From here, they will be visible on Grafana. That's how the MySQL exporter works. We have Prometheus server configured. We installed MySQL exporter, which is pulling the metrics from MySQL instance, retrieve metrics from MySQL instance running at port number 3306, and it exposes metrics on port number 9104 for Prometheus to consume. Now we are working on Grafana. Grafana is going to connect to Prometheus server, pull those metrics, and will create visualization for you, which will create beautiful graph for you, the dashboard, which we are going to understand and learn. So creating a Prometheus data source. To create a Prometheus data source in Grafana, I just demonstrated this part in the demo itself. Click on the cog wheel, data sources, add data source, Prometheus, URL, and then save and test. We verified it. This is screen grab, very easy. Then creating a Prometheus graph. Now onward you are creating the visualization. For the standard way, follow the standard way of adding a new Grafana panel, then click the panel title and then add it, or simply type single character A to add it. Under the metrics tab, select your Prometheus data source, that is bottom right corner, or bottom left I think, yeah. Enter the any Prometheus expression into the query field. This is what you learned from QL, Prometheus query language. To format the legend name of time series, use legend format input. For example, to show only the method and status labels of a return query, you can separate it by a dash. You could use legend format using method hyphen status. Tune other graph settings until you have a working graph and you are satisfied with the graph. You can also import a dashboard, which I demonstrated. Grafana.com maintains a collection of shared dashboards which are created by community and people like me, which can be downloaded and used with standalone instances of Grafana. Use Grafana.com filter option to browse dashboards for Prometheus data source only. Use the dashboard, home, import, and then import the edited dashboard file into your Grafana install. MySQL exporter is available here. You already installed it on your system. I'm sure it is already available. It is actually an official exporter created by Prometheus itself. MySQL exporter comes as a standalone binary, but we are going to configure it as a service. That's what we did. You did in the lab assignment. I requested you to complete that, and I'm sure everybody completed that MySQL installation and MySQL exporter. But now is the time to use that exporter, and you will be creating some dashboard with that. Download MySQL exporter binary on your instance. You did that, extracted it, created, move the file to binary file location, and then created a user. And you are creating a user for this purpose, so that you have only select query, not anything else on the user for the user exporter, so that you can restrict. By default here what we are doing, grant processing, process replication client select. We don't need all these things, we just need select. depending on what exactly you want, you want to allow this user to monitor. In your etc folder, create a new configuration file named .exporter.cnf, which you have already done. This is hands-on. I'm sure you are connecting to it because you already done this lab. So client, you specify the details, and then you create a MySQL service. That also we learned how to create a service. That is the description, MySQL exporter, Prometheus. Then type is service, and you specify the parameters. It will be available at 9104. You did it. Daemon reload, start service, enable, check the status. Now it is time for you to configure Prometheus for MySQL exporter, and then use a dashboard which will visualize your data which you created, which you have scrapped from MySQL server using Prometheus. MySQL exporter will run on port number 9104, and MySQL runs on port number 3306 by default. Prometheus scrap target via its configuration file. As we added a new exporter, let's add it to Prometheus configuration. So prometheus.yml, you make changes here and you add the port, this URL 9104 in this file. You already done this lab, I remember. On day 1 or day 2, I don't recollect that. I think that was day 1 or day 2. Restart Prometheus, open Prometheus interface, and you will see MySQL exporter up. Now the dashboard part, the Grafana part of it. There are two choices. First, create your own customized Grafana dashboard, tailor-made to your needs. You can choose what metrics you want to display and how you want to display them. I always believe in customizing existing one to suit our requirement, or if not that, then understanding the flow by studying existing dashboards. That make a lot of sense. Which actually means when you import a dashboard, existing dashboard, you can take note of all the queries, because you can edit them, queries will be available. So you can import, change any query of your choice, you can make customize them, and then after you take note of all the queries, all the visualization, customize them, then create a notepad file with all those queries and types and everything, all the settings and description, and then start working from scratch. This is the approach I followed, to be honest. So we are going to use Grafana MySQL dashboard. We shall also create a similar dashboard from scratch. This was the approach to make it easy to understand, and you can do it for anything. Like for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, there was no dashboard available, so I created one after following these examples. So you create and configure a data source. We have already done Prometheus data source. Then download the save MySQL dashboard from this file. This is the Grafana dashboard MySQL overview. Go to the dashboard, import, upload JSON. In fact, what I recommend in the lab, you follow the lab assignment. Lab will tell you that which one you should use, and you can create from your own, and you can use my own dashboard also. So import the JSON file, restart Grafana server, and you are good. Your MySQL is available now. Organized into multiple rows, like first row is connections. In fact, first row is this, where you see uptime, query, buffer pool, size total. Then you have connections row. Then we have table locks row. It is MySQL connections, client thread activity. Then we have MySQL thread cache, MySQL questions. All different panels are there, and now you can go and edit each of these panels to suit your requirement, to meet your expectation of what you want. That is what you can do, because this is what you will be doing tomorrow. You will be creating dashboard, you will be editing them, you will be working with them. So today you will set up that environment. Tomorrow it will be all dashboards working. So find your dashboard at this URL, watch this video to learn creating a dashboard and share it with the community. This is what my dashboard creating link is. If you want to learn from creating from scratch, watch this lecture. That will be going to be very helpful for you. URL is given to you in the PDF file.